when hinges creak in doorless chambers, and strange and frightening sounds echo through the hall, whenever candlelights flicker, and the air is deathly still. That is the time when ghosts are present, practicing their terror with ghoulish delight. Hello and welcome back, fellow foolish mortals, to the most foolish channel on the internet. Also, I'll just mention before I get started, I do apologise about my hair. I have this one frizzy tuft that makes me look like a frizzy Teletubby. But anyway, so it's almost Christmas, which means ghost stories. No, but seriously, ghost stories around this sort of time have been dating back way long ago. As nights got shorter, of course, like people even before Christmas was even like a thing that we know today, people were telling ghost stories because, you know, it's dark and ghosts. But obviously we all know, I'm sure like 99% of the modern Western world knows the story of Christmas Carol, which is the classic ghost story. And it's not like Charles Dickens was like, oh, ghosts at Christmas, that could be different. No, he would have been like, yeah, this is quite normal, because like Victorians would tell ghost stories around Christmas time. So, on that note, I'm going to tell you some ghost stories, urban legends, and Disney creepy stuff around the Disney parks. And some of you may already be aware of some of this, you know. There's just a few little tidbits that you might find interesting. Some haunts. I hope you're ready. Ooh, it's time to get in the Christmas spirit. Get it? Because ghosts and spirit. The first one I'm going to talk about, on camera there's been caught a few different ghosts at Disney. You can see them walking. You can see them just suddenly appear. There's one particular one that you can see on Tower of Terror. Now, these are ghosts caught on camera. And where's the explanation? There is an explanation, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Maybe it's actually ghosts. Maybe. There is something that has been caught on camera that is actually genuinely, like, I can't explain it, and I don't think there is an actual explanation. So during the fireworks show, you can see a man, more of a manly shape, standing on top of the castle where you can't actually get to, and they're watching the fireworks. If this was a cast member, this would be incredibly unsafe. Like, incredibly unsafe. You will fall to your death and become a real ghost if you're not already a real ghost, my friend. Was it a ghost? Potentially, if you believe in such things. Now we'll get on to the most haunted of all. And it's not the Haunted Mansion. It's actually Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean, they've actually got a system in place to prevent human ashes. It actually collects human ashes that have been thrown it is completely illegal to actually throw ashes in Pirates of the Caribbean of your loved ones. So they will be collected and, as much as possible, returned to yourself, if that is an option, and you will be escorted off of park property. So I wouldn't recommend ever doing that, but it is haunted. So there is this guy who died there at Pirates of the Caribbean. There is somebody there called George, and George, he haunts Pirates of the Caribbean, so much so that if someone on the ride says that they don't believe in George, the ride will mysteriously stop. And cast members every morning must say good morning to George, and at night time, good night George. For the most part, he seems fairly okay with the ride's operation, but if somebody is not very nice to George or questions his existence, then he's going to make that ride stop. He has control over that. Maybe bring it on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Make sure that you say hi to George. Maybe you'll have the best ride ever. And talking of Pirates of the Caribbean, there's still said to be some real bones on Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, it is true that when the Imagineers first built Pirates of the Caribbean, they did use real human bones. The ride went on and technology became better to create more lifelike looking bones for the ride. The bones were replaced, not all of them. It still said that the skull on the headboard is indeed still a real skull, and it seems to be rotting as such as well. But they also said that a few of the other ones are as well. There is a rib cage with a sword through it, so that's potentially as well. But it's not confirmed, but maybe. Just maybe. And when it comes to the Haunted Mansion, that is the most popular place for people to throw ashes. And I can understand that. I mean, who wouldn't want to be laid to rest where hinges creak in doorless chambers and strange and frightening sounds echo through the halls? I mean, I think that's a good place to be laid to rest. You'll be around 999 other happy haunts. And then when it comes to Space Mountain, there's been 2 sightings of different ghosts, or at least as far as I'm aware. 2 different sightings. One of them, he's usually seen as you get off the track, as it comes in. He's there and then he's not. And then there is another one as well. She glows in the dark and she flies around, and that sounds quite fun. I'd like to be her. I'd like to be her if I died. If I died, I am literally a foolish mortal. Where am I? Maybe I'm a ghost. You never know. You never know. And then my favourite ghost story of them all is about Walt himself. So you may know about the firehouse, and there's a light left on in the firehouse window to keep Walt's memory alive. So you can actually see that flickering anytime you do go to Disneyland. One cast member, she wasn't aware of this. She wasn't aware of this at all, so she just turned off the light and she went downstairs. And she looked behind her up at the window and the light was on. Huh, she could have sworn that she turned that off. She turned around, she went back up again, she turned the light off for definite this time, she knew she did. She went downstairs and she looked back and it was on. Maybe it goes on automatically potentially. Or maybe someone's turning it on when they shouldn't be. So she went back up. She actually unplugged the lamp this time. Made sure it was definitely off. She went back downstairs. Turned around. And the light was on. She went back up. And she heard a voice. Waltz maybe? As though to say that he's still here. He's still there. And he's still looking over his park. I think that that's quite a nice one. That's my favourite one of them all. My favourite, the Disney urban legends and ghost stories. There are so many ghost stories and urban legends and craziness about the Disney parks. Have you seen a ghost in the Disney parks that wasn't in the Haunted Mansion or Phantom Manor? Or Mystic Manor? And I hope you weren't too spooked out. I will see you, actually, on the 1st of December for a Christmas special, a Christmas Disney special, It won't be so nightmare inducing, I promise. So thank you so much for joining me, and have a magical day. Bye!